greatest height for smelly culprits with their insidious plans to invade such a realm. They try, but their own bad planning brings down wrath upon their heads like the sword old Damocles had. Intrigue and scurrilous cunning find a difficult path to travel within the ranks of the Moors. This is so because the movement has been proclaimed by Prophet Noble Drali, whose latent powers are abundant, unknown, and may be called into action as a matter of defense at any moment. Prophet Noble Drali knows the people within his ranks who are interested. They're the vanguard of the movement as the Moorish hordes increase here in America. All of the Moors are active, not passive. A member's interest can only be in one direction, and having traveled over the roads years before, the Prophet knows where every member is along the road. A few feet below is another road where schemers work, where traders grin, and culprits bask in the sun. They think they're on the same road with true Moors, but the Moors are high above on a pinnacle where they might view the dismiss as they fall for the last time. Caveat emptor, cast out the dead carcass. The Moors high above see these plotters prepares the worst that exists, hurl themselves downward by their own works at the hawk's way. So, to get things started off right, please answer me. Government and what is law? And he has specificity. Okay. Now, what is law?
Different from legal.
You gotta say that. I'm just like, yeah, something. You can say something.
And assistance.
Protection and assistance. Okay. How should this be worded then? The people. So, should it say what is government's duty towards the people?
Well, it's also ownership because there's different governments.
But they're representatives, they serve us, so ownership is like, I think that's what you meant.
No, I'm not saying ownership. I'm saying it's people. I don't think another state or country's government has any obligation to me. It has an obligation to its people.
So depending on how you're reading that, your perspective, both of you are right.
Yeah.
It can be viewed as, when you say its people, you're saying the people are subject to it, when that's not the case. But in your situation, the government that is its people, meaning, you know, they're the same, they're one and the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. All right. Anyone else got anything different? For this, what is government's basically? What does training mean to you?
Transparency is pretty much truth, and government is pretty much giving orders.
So truth and orders, that's what that means to you? Before you go, anyone else? Yes.
Yeah, it should be open with what they're doing.
So another way to phrase this would be open government. And what does that mean to you? Or what would that look like? Or can you give a specific situation on how government can be transparent or open?
Open-minded, right?
Nothing you can think of anything?
Well, it'll come to you.
Okay.
There's
go ahead.
There shouldn't be any closed door meetings. There shouldn't be any types of proposals that the people haven't presented to the government first. Anything that the government is doing on our behalf should be presented by the people.
So there should be no closed door meetings. The people should be present at all times.
Not present at all times.
Well, the people should be allowed to be present.
Right.
Be aware.
Yeah, they have to be aware. So, and one of the things in the rudder and sextant is talked about how a certain position, their principal office has to be available to the public for that exact reason, because there should be no government officials voting on anything without the people knowing what they're voting on, like you said, and without the people having availability or access to the meetings to hear what their representatives are voting to have.
And it doesn't have to be like large council meetings all the time, but like just like there's a jury, there's just a small body of people who represent people who could be present.
But you're talking about open court now.
Yeah.
I agree. Anyone have anything else? You first. Oh no.
I said no.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
If there's an agenda for things to be discussed or decided on, that should be publicized for the people. There should be a way for the people to be involved. There should be rules and regulations so that we can hold our officials accountable. Financial statements should be public. Work should be public. All of this has to be on public record, accessible to the people.
And announced.
Yeah.
Because things are on public record, but we don't know.
They're not announced.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're government, but when it comes down to private,
Yeah, but government is not supposed to be private.
they make it private all the time.
No, of course. But we're not here to talk about what people, wrongly. It was just that. But now when we're talking about that, should governments be transparent? If yes, why? If not, why not?
Absolutely.
Absolutely to which one?
So yes, it should be transparent, absolutely, because if they're doing things on the behalf of the people,
yeah,
they would have to let the people know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because it's for them.
Yeah.
I would say no. I would think be more federal transfer of control. Good. I know it's supposed to be transparent, it's supposed to be clear, open, all that stuff, but when you deal with the government and transparency, it can be
transparent. It's an adjective from the early 15th century, from medieval Latin, transparentum. Present participle of transparere, meaning to show light, from Latin trans, which means across, beyond, or through.
And what we're working toward should be transparent, but every little detail, maybe not if they produce reports for the public to.
Can you give a specific example of when government should be, when there should be a security clearance on information?
If we're facing a terrorist threat, I don't think it's the best idea to announce it to the people that this is going to happen. But I do expect people to follow through with their jobs and handle it and release a report to the public after and give instruction to the public for safety.
Okay, so what about right now where our nation is under occupation? Peace. Our nation is under occupation, and the things that are happening to us are terrorist attacks. But so now I'm kind of seeing, even me posing the question, I'm seeing why things are given in degrees, so people don't panic.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we're at the bottom already. Yeah. So let us participate so that we can be on the same page to help it, because we all need to be on the same page for our government to move forward and develop.
Yes. Now.
Oh, we were talking about clearance and panic, and I feel like if we're being transparent as you represent the people, and I'm speaking, I guess, as a parent, clearance is fine, but preparing people is better. If you prepare them.
Now, I have a question. How do you prepare everyone?
That's a good question.
How do you prepare everyone? And who's ready and who's not to receive any type of clearance or whatever? Who's in charge?
That's one of the things to which
change.
Exactly.
The person, yeah. The only thing you can.
But you can represent an idea.
An idea.
Yeah. Now you can't represent people. You represent the idea of the people. That's why I go.
Yeah.
And it's not a tangible thing. It's always the people. The idea is the I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. Because I'm seeing all of it happening at the same time. So again, with the crude versus meal, that every person is all laws drive by nature, like any institution is formed by his fellow men. When it comes to things like security clearances, and dealing with the principle that the prophet revealed the covers up for all secret societies, if he did that, wouldn't that mean all information is just anyone can get it if they ask for it? But then, if you don't know it exists,
so the reports need to be done, and the agendas need to be done. So if to scale it down, if your responsibility is to keep the vehicles I'm not going to nitpick and follow you through what mechanic, what decisions you're making, how you getting the oil change, what oil you're using. I'm not going to nitpick. I'm going to trust you to do your job and then make a report on what you had to go through or what was done and present it back to the body.
Yeah.
So the same idea for security. It's your job to make sure that the people are prepared. And that doesn't always mean, telling people every detail so that they panic. It could be, we need to have food piled up. These are all the emergency areas, blah, 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 blah. Prepare the people as much as possible. Give them as much information as possible to see us through, because that would be doing your job. And then after, give a report on what happened.
I agree. There should be, transparency should be obvious, because the government, the body of people represented,
Peace.
the body of people represented.
Peace, most.
Peace.
Come sign in. Welcome.
Yeah, the people should be.
The people elect who is going to be representing them. And so just like Janae said, we're not going to nitpick every single thing that you do, but we've chosen you for a role and play that role, and we trust that you're going to do that. And as far as that's why transparency should be obvious. We told you what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Do that to the best of your abilities, and then show us what you've done, so that we can continue to have the confidence that you are doing
that trust.
Yes, that trust. And I wanted to piggyback on what you just said about security.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if we're talking about security, not every single detail, but again, you represent us, you represent our interests, right? Part of security is making sure that we feel prepared enough not to panic. Right. We are informed enough not to panic, to know better, not to be scared. Yeah. Just to take us through this process so that you can relay certain information. And I'm not, because obviously there are things that, I don't know, obviously there are things that need to be, because other people are involved, everyone's individual privacy and everyone's individual situation, but there shouldn't be a question of panic. It should be a question of how do we prepare you enough not to panic, and then how do we continue to build on that so that we can be as open as possible.
Hi.
Yes, I'm saying.
Also, the other thing, if we're talking about security, as you inform the people publicly, what your particular actions and what you're facing are, what your information or intel is, you're also informing other people that aren't with our nation. So there has to be a certain level of safe keep as far as information goes, because in the wrong hands, before we even made a move, they already know what the move is. And then also online, it says the principal heirs need to take their place in the affairs of men, and we are obligors. Huh?
Where are you reading that from?
This is the comment section.
Oh, from our YouTube? Say that again?
The principal heirs need to take their place in the affairs of men.
Now, who are they? Who are the principal heirs?
I'm assuming they're talking about Moors.
I know, but who are they? Just the Moors in general? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The word prince or principal heir, or just the word prince itself, means the first or most prominent. That involves an election. So the people would have to be informed to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're not informing them, then how do we ever get to this level?
Mm-hmm.
If everything's a secret, you know what I mean, or certain things are secrets for whatever reason, yet the people need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not being given to them because some people think they're not ready. There's a certain degree. I feel like all of that is being